Hey YouTube, Feeling Florence. I want to give just a short intro on my wine video. This past year, actually last year in September of 2017, I went to my daughter's house, and in her backyard she's got a couple of grapevines. One is a large purple grape and the other one's a large bronze grape. They both make delicious wine. So I've made wine the last couple of years out of those grapes, out of some of those grapes, but they just hang in bunches. The very first clips of the video will show what they look like. The large purple grape gets ripe first, so I didn't shoot the video of the large bronze grape. So there's two different grapes. One has a little more rosé look to the wine and one's more of a clear color. But I'm going to take you through the process of actually picking the grapes, bringing them home, washing them, and then crushing them, and then taking them through the first and second primary and secondary fermentation process. I have a little recipe I got from a place in Colombia. And I got it on a little sheet of paper. I got it back in the 90s and I still have it, and I'll post it in the description box. But it's their recipe they've had for 30 or 40 years, 35 years I guess. And I still have it, so that's the one I use. It's real simple, but if you follow that process, after you do your primary fermentation and secondary fermentation, and I'm using glass carboys. You start off in buckets, you'll see, and then you switch over to the glass carboys, or you can use the conical fast fermenter, which are the big plastic cone shaped with a ball at the bottom, and stuff settles to the bottom into that ball, and you just cut your valve off and unscrew the ball, and that's how you rack it. So I hope you enjoy this video. This is definitely a home brew video, and it's just wine. We drink a glass once in a while, but I give a lot of it away just because it's kind of like gardening. And my daughter's got all these grapes, and you can't make but so much jelly and eat so many ripe grapes, and I hated to see them go to waste, so I decided to make some wine with it. And it's mostly a hobby, and it's a novelty to me. It's just fun watching it and go through the process. It's just fun. So I hope you enjoy this video to the end, and it may be a little lengthy. I'm going to go in and edit it out as much as I can, but I just want to show this process, and so sit back and relax and just watch. Okay. I'm picking grapes. Going to make some wine. See how pretty these are? I've already picked almost a 5-gallon bucket. I believe I can get at least 4 bucketfuls of these big purple ones. Muscadine grapes, I guess, in my daughter's backyard. I had to trim back all the vines and leaves just so I could get to them to pick them. But okay, I'll show you what. I got 4 more buckets full, 5-gallon buckets. They're 20 pounds a bucket. That's 80 pounds of grapes. I already picked 3 pounds of the purple. So we'll be crushing grapes again tonight. A good part of the evening after midnight, getting them to the primary fermentation stage, adding the pectin enzyme and the yeast nutrient, some Camden tablets, and about 9 pounds of sugar in each. I'll have 2 7.8 gallon buckets full of crushed grapes and juice that I'll add the sugar to, and then tomorrow I'll add the yeast, pitch the yeast. Okay, what we want to do first, we've got 4 buckets, 5-gallon buckets filled with grapes. I've just sanitized my instruments, my net, and so what we're going to do with this is put it in the sink, and I've washed them, and they're in water, and I'm going to be grabbing four of these bowlfuls and put them in here, and then I'm going to crush them. All the grapes are crushed, and they're no whole. You can feel them if there are any whole grapes left. Then I'm going to lay this lip here on this bucket to give me some place to put pressure on them, and just start pushing down. And these grapes are ripe, so the juice will start flying. But it doesn't take long once you get going, get a rhythm going. See, it took me just that long, and I've got them crushed. And then I'm gonna reach in and grab and just squeeze with my hand and make sure, and they feel good. Then you just turn it over, and you just keep doing that process until you work down through. What we're going to do is, after I get all of the grapes for that 5-gallon bucket in this bucket crushed, then I'm going to stir it, and then I'm going to take a specific gravity reading with this hydrometer, and I'm going to write that down. It'll probably be somewhere like 1.040. That's what these type grapes usually run. Then I'm going to add sugar, probably about 9 pounds of sugar. I'll melt in some warm water, and I'll add that to the must, to the grape juice, and I'll keep adding till I get up to 1.090. I'll go that high, but that depends on what percent alcohol you want these grapes to turn out. That's how you determine where you start and how much sugar you add and where you get it to, the specific gravity reading to. And then you'll add a few other things that I'll show you, and stir it up, cover it up, and then we'll let that rest overnight. And then tomorrow I'll pitch the yeast, they call it. I got a whole bucket and a little bit more. It's supposed to be 25 pounds of buckets. I took a hydrometer reading, and it was reading 1.050. So what I had to do, and that's usually where these grapes start, 1.04550, and you want to get it up to 1.090, or wherever you want, however strong you want your must to be in alcohol, or your wine to end up. Now, this is only my 3rd time doing this, so I'm not an expert. But what I'm going to do right now is stir this sugar in. I used some warm water, and I got it dissolved. I didn't just put sugar in there. And then I'm going to take another specific gravity reading with my hydrometer, and we'll see where it reads then after I put the sugar in here. Easiest way I found to do this, instead of trying to dip a dipper down in the middle of those grapes, you take your dipper and you lift your bag up. Your bag's got all the pulp, and then you get you a nice clean dipper full, and you can use that. And you don't have to worry about seeds and pulp and all that kind of stuff. It's nice and clear. Alright, looks like we made it up to 1.090. That's perfect. And that'll give you 12%. That is perfect. That's kind of what you're looking for. This is a 7.8 gallon fermenting bucket, primary fermenting bucket. And I'll put that recipe on this video in the description box or somewhere. I'll have it on there, what I'm using, what I'm going by. It calls for, after you crush that many grapes, to add 4 gallons of water. But I just added 2 gallons of water in this stock pot with about 9 pounds of sugar. So, and that got me at 1.090. What I could do, I'm supposed to put 2 more gallons of water in here and raise this level up, and then I'd have to add more sugar, because if you add water, it's going to make that hydrometer reading come down probably to 1.080 or something. And so I'll have to add some more sugar. So that's probably what I'll do, because I do want to get more fluid in here Not up to the top, because as it starts fermenting, it'll bubble over. So you want to bring it up. I'd like to bring it up a little bit more. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'll check back with you. Okay, just to catch you up, what I just did was added 2 more gallons of water and the rest of that 10-pound bag of sugar, probably just, like another pound. So I'm getting ready to check the specific. Well, I'm going to have to add a little more. It's at 1.080, just like I said a while ago. I'm going to have to add a little more sugar, maybe another pound. Alright, so that's how you have to do it. You have to know what your specific gravity reading is when you first start, just from your grape juice, and then as you add sugar, you keep testing it to see where you want to end up. I've added some more sugar, another pound. And take another reading. I hope we're there, because I don't want to have to add any. Call it 090. I won't try to show it to you, just take my word. So what I've got is 25 pounds of grapes in a 7.8 gallon fermenter. Crushed the grapes, added 11 pounds of sugar, dissolved the sugar in some of that water, run you some warm water in a big stock pot. That one happens to be 8 quarts or 2 gallons. I filled it up twice. They started at 1.050 and they ended up, after 11 pounds of sugar, at 1.090, and that's about 12% wine. Alright, that is this process, and what I'm getting ready to do is add 2.5 teaspoons of yeast nutrient, 2.5 teaspoons of pectin enzyme, 5 crushed Camden tablets, that's the metabisulfite to keep any bacteria out. And what else? Can't remember right off the bat, but that's about what I'm going to put in it. And then I'm going to cover it loosely and let it sit overnight. And then tomorrow we'll stir up a yeast starter, a pack of yeast and a little bit of water with a tablespoon of sugar, and stir it up, and then we'll pour that in here, and in a couple of days, 1 or 2 days, it'll start fermenting, and that'll be the primary fermentation, and that'll take about 5 to 7 days. And at the end of that time, when it gets the specific gravity, I'll take another reading. When this gets fermented, and when this reading comes back up to 1.035 to 45, I'll rack it out of here into a CARBOY or either a fast fermenter, and that'll be the secondary fermenting action. So until I get to the secondary fermenting stage, that's all I'm going to show you for now, and but I'll pick back up there. Okay, what you want to do is a couple times a day come and punch it down and stir it a little bit. That's what they say. So that's what I'm doing. Makes sense. You can see it foaming and fizzing during the primary fermentation process. Do each one of them like that, and they're all in the same. All 3 of these last buckets are at the same stage, so I'll do the other 2 same way. What we're doing now is squeezing the pulp out of these nylon bags, nets, and getting all the real good flavor out of this the hulls. Already got one done. That's 2 buckets squeezed out and poured in and transferred to that CARBOY. I got this one and that one there going in this one. So I'm going to finish squeezing this out and pouring it out. Okay, that's what you get, the secondary fermentation with the airlock. That's that's what you want to see. It'll do that for, I don't know, about a week, and then it'll be totally, the fermentation period will be over, and then we'll rack it again to a clean carboy and put 5 Camden tablets to keep it clean. And that's all there is to it. We'll rack it about 3 times, about 3 months in between each time or something like that. Alright guys, there's 2 parts to this video, and you stay tuned for part 2.